Well, we'll go ahead and get started. I just want to say, first of all, thank y'all for serving on the committee for the Thoma Scholarship. I think it's a very exciting time as we kick off the Scholars Program, and today is really a pivotal point in that. This program is not just providing that financial support for students, but it's also creating those opportunities for students that otherwise wouldn't have an opportunity to attend Texas Tech, and to provide them service learning, leadership skills, that community at Texas Tech through our engagement program. So truly a scholars program that's going to change their lives.
I'm kind of just anxious to kind of see how we all go through all 148, because I can think of a lot of students that are definitely worthy.
She's been talking about this since she was itty bitty.
I love Texas Tech. That's been my school since I was little. I've always wanted to go there. So I've been guns up all the way.
It just felt like that last kiss from God, just saying, well done. It really did. So just to see all her hard work come to pass was just amazing.
This is episode 3, Small Town America.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. Morning.
How are you?
We're doing great. Early morning.
David Reyes knows the backroads of West Texas well. He grew up in the small town of Rawls, about 35 minutes northeast of Lubbock. He started working on the Tech campus in undergraduate admissions in 2023, and that recruiting channel became a lot more specific with the introduction of the Thoma Scholarship. This scholarship, named after the Thoma family, is unique. There are not many universities that offer a scholarship of this size exclusively to students from rural communities. It's worth about $20,000 per student per year.
I was, growing up in high school, I was that kid that we're trying to target. If you have been wanting to go to somewhere like Tech, it's possible, yeah. And that's the thing, and that's what I want to help students with. At least if they're not attending Tech, at least I try to give them the information. And hopefully they go back home and talk with their parents or guardians.
He spends weeks out of the year on road trips like this one, traveling to select small towns across the Texas Panhandle, Oklahoma, and New Mexico. Today, we're in Happy, Texas. It's halfway between Tulia and Canyon on Interstate 27. About 600 people call Happy home. It's a map dot just off the highway, surrounded for miles by farmland. There's a Happy State Bank on North Talley Street, just a few steps away from City Hall. If you turn down Northeast 3rd, you'll pass the Lunchbox. It's the only restaurant in town. Keep driving and you arrive at the high school, which seems to be the heartbeat of this community. As we pull up, the cross-country team is just finishing a morning run. We sit at a stop sign and let them pass before driving the next 100 yards to our final destination, the school parking lot.
We're with Texas Tech. We're here for the presentation today. David, nice to meet you.
All right, this morning I want to remind you guys that we have people here from Texas Tech, and Mr. Reyes is going to talk to you guys a little bit about Texas Tech and what we offer.
Good morning. Okay, I'm glad I didn't talk too loud because I usually scream into the microphone whenever I'm on the microphone.
There's interest among these students. They're eager to know more about what makes a student qualified to be a Thoma Scholar. Some of the students in this group of 22 seniors will attend Texas Tech. Some will attend other universities, and some will begin work and forego college entirely. David is focused on generating as much attention for Texas Tech to all three groups, in the hopes that the next Thoma Scholar is sitting in this very room.
It doesn't have to be about Texas Tech. If you have questions about college or just applying in general, please feel free to ask.
David is the real-life embodiment of Texas Tech. If they don't know anything about this university, at least they know David. And now, because of him, they have a door to help make college possible or more feasible by applying for this scholarship. But it's competitive. Even in its first year, 342 students have applied, and only 14 are selected. Among them are Aaliyah, an 18-year-old co-author and entrepreneur, and Jet, a fourth-generation farmer helping sustain the family business.
If y'all need any water or anything, the Pepsi food truck, that's ours. Okay. So my dad is actually in there, so if you want to bother him.
Aaliyah Wallace was born and raised in Cress. If you've never heard of it, you're not alone. It's just north of Plainview. She's an impressive student. She was a mascot for her high school all 4 years, a challenging feat and one that doctors did not recommend for her. When she was 9, she was diagnosed with scoliosis. She's learned and grown a lot since then, using her story to co-author a book with her uncle. She's become an advocate for helping teach students about embracing their stories, especially when it includes a diagnosis like hers.
So if you want to mark like an area where you want them to throw from, you can. Just so you have like a set distance, like for little kids, if you want them closer, and then if you want the adults back further, just so you have.
A smattering of people surround Aaliyah as she gets this event going. She's organized a block party to raise awareness and funds for scoliosis. It's her life's mission to help kids like her. When she was young, she felt supported by her family and friends. She knows that some kids are not so lucky. So it's important to her that they understand scoliosis and they can find a way to own it.
God, we just thank you for each and every person standing here. I thank you that you're going to bless this event, that you're going to bless Aaliyah, that your hand is over everything going on out here today. So we just give you all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise as we begin our day.
Amen.
Amen. All right, team, go find your stations.
This is the first time she's organized something like this. There are games, food trucks, a water slide, raffles, a dunk tank, basketball, a DJ.
There's a lot. There's a lot. My grandmother, she's making funnel cakes. It's definitely a family function. My family is like, they're all in. My mom even got us shirts. She was so proud of her shirts, and my dad went and got us all fanny packs today. And I was like, what's it for? And he's like, you look cool. I'm like,
it took a village to get this event up and running. Her Nana calls out to Aaliyah behind the hot oil where she's making funnel cakes, dusting them with powdered sugar. Her dad, Broderick, is helping put volunteers in place. And across the way, her Meemaw is selling socks. Meemaw calls Aaliyah Ladybug, a nickname she gave her because of the ladybug stickers that covered the back brace Aaliyah wore for most of her childhood. For Aaliyah's mom, Kimberly, getting the news that her youngest child has scoliosis was scary.
I remember my oldest daughter was deployed at the time, and me and Aaliyah walked to the car and we both just broke down. And we called Alexis and she broke down, but then we just kind of began to put the pieces back together again.
Kimberly remembers those days well, the good and the bad all rolled in together.
That brace was so uncomfortable. It would bruise her ribs. I mean, we did a lot of just holding and crying, and I did a lot of chasing her around the house, like, you gotta put it on. And she was, little, so she didn't understand. She would run from me, and I don't want to. We had a lot of that. But I had to be the bad guy. It's for your own good, even though you don't see it and know it, but.
A lot of those days were tough, but so was Kimberly, an important trait that all 3 of her children possess, including Aaliyah.
She just decided it wasn't gonna be her downfall. And I've been right there to root her on, because I'm like, hey, if this is our path, this is our journey, then let's go.
Aaliyah has always held herself to a really high standard. She knows what she's capable of and doesn't settle for less. It's one of the things the Thoma Scholarship Committee recognized about her immediately. It's what made her a unanimous vote. The Thoma Scholarship Committee looks for students who are determined, compassionate, responsible, who lead with grit and perseverance. That's what the committee sees in Aaliyah, and what they see in fellow Thoma scholar Jet Ramakers. We meet him after the break.
Hi, my name is Glennis Young. I'm the editor of Texas Tech's Evermore magazine. In our office, we're driven by stories. They might be written or through photos or video, through podcasts like the one you're listening to right now. And as storytellers, we believe it's a privilege to bring people together through shared experiences. It's what Fearless does, and it's what Evermore does. So as we dig our heels in to share these stories, be part of the journey with us as we uncover all the ways Texas Tech is proving that from here it's possible. And if you're interested in learning more about Evermore, visit ttu.edu/evermore.
We've just pulled into Nazareth, Texas. Just like Cress, it's one of the many stops David has made in his recruiting trips for the scholarship. The drive from Lubbock is about an hour and 15 minutes. A narrow blue sign outside the 19th Hole Cafe lists dozens of years in peeling yellow paint. It's a tribute to the legendary high school girls basketball program and all the state championships won over the years. Spoiler alert, there are a lot, 25 to be exact, more than any other girls program in the history of Texas in any classification. If you know anything about Nazareth, you probably know that. But that's not what's brought us here on this particular Wednesday morning.
How's it going? Hey, how are you? Good. Good to see you again. I'm good. This is Michael.
Nice to meet you.
How are you? Good to see you.
Good, I'm Peggy.
Michael, nice to meet
Jed's
you.
mom.
Thomas and one of our videographers, Michael, are met at the front door and greeted by Jet and his family.
Jed's twin sister.
Good to meet you.
And this is Lexi.
Good to meet you.
Their home is inviting. Pictures of a young Jet, Riley, and Lexi fill the walls of the entryway. He and his twin sister, Riley, are both freshmen on campus this fall. Their younger sister, Lexi, looks so much like them she could be a triplet. She's 16. Jet's mom, Peggy, is kind. She's undeniably proud of her kids and her town.
But yeah, just through the town of Nazareth. I mean, the church is pretty, and of course Nazareth with our basketball, the gym, and the school and the ag shop. Y'all take Jet and go for what you need. And
Yeah. Let's.
Jet spends a little more than 12 hours a day in the field during this time of year. Some days that means harvesting wheat or corn with his dad or operating the grain tractor. Sometimes, like today, that means weed management on the blade plow. The recent rain has led to overgrown weeds, and they need to eliminate them before they plant. Over 2 large fields averaging around 160 acres.
Probably the first time I drove tractor was in the 3rd grade. Started plowing one time, and of course the first time I plowed, I looked back and the wheel was gone. A wheel was gone on the plow. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But I've been driving tractor for a long time. I'm grateful for it because it's taught me how to work for the public. Is what my dad says.
Yeah.
How to meet other people's expectations.
Yeah.
Farming is just half of the responsibility that Jet's held throughout the years. On top of being a good student, being involved with his church's youth group, and a member of the golf team, Jet spent most of his time managing the many FFA judging teams for which he competed. Livestock judging, cotton and forage judging, and senior quiz. His other passion, and the one that his family is known for, is raising pigs. For 4 generations on his mom's side, his family has been perfecting the pig raising process. And Jet has upheld that reputation well. He says that he's able to balance his busy schedule because of the people around him, not only his family, but his community too.
Coming from a small community, I think it has taught me to just connect with other people a lot easier. It's taught me to be involved in my community, and it really does take everybody, especially here in Nazareth when there's less than 300 people, and I don't even know how many people are in school, maybe 100.
Yeah.
So
he has always known that this community rallies for its own, and that was reinforced in a big way during his interview process for this scholarship.
After I heard I moved on to the interview section, I spent a lot of time with teachers and my superintendent getting ready for my interview, and I'm grateful for them too, helping me to get to where I am now.
This is what it feels like to thrive in a small town. The help your neighbor mentality is more real than anything. The pride that comes from another state championship is the same one that is felt when it's a good year for the crop, or when the high school FFA team wins big, or when a young man is picked to represent his small town for this big scholarship.
The whole process for me, I know it was very tough for the committee to pick their 14 students, but it was stressful.
So I was actually headed to Dallas because I was headed to competition.
When to open it, I was in Lubbock for area livestock judging.
And my mom comes in, she's like, you have a package at your sister's house.
My mom's calling me saying I had a package from Texas Tech on the front doorstep.
The moment clicked and I started screaming at my mom because she's like, what's wrong? I was like, I got the scholarship. And she was like, so she starts freaking out, so I called my dad, and my dad's like, I'm pulling in the driveway right now. So he comes in, we tell him, so then he starts crying. And
I was so excited. It was definitely a weight lifted off my shoulders.
But it was really exciting because I've always wanted to go to Tech. That's been my dream school, but I thought it was going to be way too expensive. So kind of being able to relieve that financial burden and get to live out my dream as well was like cherry on top.
Yeah.
This is what the Thoma family hoped for when they created this scholarship. That worthy towns and worthy students would get the credit they deserve. You can imagine the selection process is rigorous. Each student has to apply and get accepted to Tech before they're eligible to apply for the scholarship. Then the hard work starts for the scholarship committee.
Well, we'll go ahead and get started. I just want to say first.
Jason Hale is an assistant VP in enrollment management. He leads this committee.
So really, when we start today, what we want to do is look at this program is not just providing that financial support for students, but it's also creating those opportunities for students that otherwise wouldn't have an opportunity to attend Texas Tech. So truly a scholars program that's going to change their lives. What we are doing today is looking for those students that have demonstrated academic excellence, but also have provided a great deal of leadership experiences. We're going to look at their letters of recommendation, their essays, kind of their skills and talents that they've been involved with in high school.
More than 300 apply. Only 40 students will be offered an interview, and from there, the final 14 are selected. The 6-person committee sits around a conference table. On the monitor across the room is an Excel spreadsheet that includes names, states, counties, GPA, and any other relevant factors that qualify each student for this scholarship. David's here. You know him. And there are others from enrollment management and student success.
I do think it's going to be a strong class, first class definitely. So I'm happy to say that I've met a lot of students and I've gotten know a lot of personal stories just from meeting them and emailing with them. And it's a blessing to have this much good applicants, but it's going to be hard for sure. So.
Well, we have a busy 2 days ahead of us, so I think we should probably get started.
They've approached this process with care and attention to detail. It's a lot of responsibility to find the right students, and they accept that challenge. By now, Jet and Aaliyah and the others are officially college students. The semester has started in a buzz of excitement and anticipation and nerves. But today, they're taking a break before class to meet a couple of very important people.
Even though I've been doing this a long time, I'm probably as nervous as you are. We're really humbled that the first class that's going to do this. And
Carl Thoma stands at the front of the room. A light gray suit coat covers the top of his crisp dress shirt. His wife Marilyn sits next to him on a couch. Her iconic round blue and black glasses stand out. Her tapered Texas Tech red skirt falls softly around her knees. They've captured the attention of the room.
You've got the hard part of taking the found time that you're going to have by not having to worry about financial matters and not having to worry about 3 jobs to pay tuition, to take that time to develop yourself, develop your leadership skills, develop your academic skills so you can go on to accomplish what we know you all can accomplish or you wouldn't be selected. And then
Carl goes on to deliver the best college advice he can muster. And the students have a chance to deliver their own words of gratitude and bring light to the things that they think make this group special.
Before I start, Mr. and Mrs. Thoma, I think I speak on behalf of all of us. We're immensely grateful. I know there's some of us who have had family who's never gone to college before, some of us who have been told for all of our lives that college is the way we need to go, and you all are making this possible for each one of us. So thank you for that.
And we all come from different backgrounds, and so I'm just really excited to see where all we go, because all of our majors are completely different from one another. And I think it was so interesting that whenever we got on Zoom or got in a room together, we weren't the same. I mean, we're the same type of people, but we came from different places in our lives. And I think it's exciting to see where we're all going to end up one day.
I guess from my way of thinking, and both Marilyn Marilyn had a stroke a few years ago, so she understands you, but she's got aphasia, so sometimes you can't understand her, but she was in some ways more accomplished than I was. Yeah. But
although Marilyn is quiet throughout the event, she listens intently, nodding and smiling and offering an occasional wink. The words that Carl says are for the students in the room, but when he delivers them, he looks right at Marilyn, almost as if to reinforce their partnership, to drive home that this scholarship, like everything else in their life, is something they've done together. The build-up to this gift has been a long time coming. So being able to meet the first cohort for the first time is a special and important moment. To shake a hand or hug a neck or hear a story of why this scholarship means so much.
Hi, Carl Thoma.
Nice to meet you.
So what county did you get your buckle from?
Mine is from Texas 4-H. I won state in soil judging this year.
In what?
Soil judging.
Oh, soil. Wow.
Emma Talley is from Memphis, Texas. It's up in the Panhandle, roughly 30 minutes from the Oklahoma border.
I mean, y'all inspire me every day. Like, whenever me and my dad were looking into the scholarship, I mean, it was insane. And even to think that I got it was crazy. I cried whenever I got the little gift box. That was probably the coolest way that I've ever gotten a scholarship.
She turns her full attention now and speaks directly to Marilyn.
But, I mean, you inspire me too. My dad actually, my freshman year, had a stroke. And so I completely understand where you're coming from. He ended up having a massive heart attack and had to have 5 bypass surgeries. And then, like, a week after his surgery, he had a massive stroke. So whenever you said that, I was like, I relate. Like, I completely understand your struggle. And my parents do too. My mom actually quit her job to help my dad.
Sound like he's getting better. That's good.
He is, yes.
Marilyn and Carl lean into Emma while she shares this vulnerable sentiment. She wasn't the first student to express how important this scholarship is. She won't be the last, not by a long shot. These 14 students represent just the beginning of a commitment that the Thomas have made to schools and communities across the region, and to Texas Tech. They've thought for a long time about what they wanted this scholarship to look like and who they wanted it to serve. And as they look at this group, that vision has materialized before their very eyes. Their legacy will go on to impact dozens of students in the future. And it all started with Carl and Marilyn's roots in small-town America. Fearless is produced by Texas Tech Marketing and Communications. It's hosted and written by me, Taylor Peters. Thomas Boyd is our audio engineer. He does sound design and edits this podcast. Learn more about Fearless and see behind-the-scenes photos by clicking in the link in our show notes. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Fearless is a Texas Tech production. From here, it's possible.